No. Welcome back to Pisces TV with Montana B. This is a reading for Pisces. Sun, Moon, Venus, and Rising, wherever Pisces may fall in your chart or in your environment. Keep in mind that tarot is entertainment. It may or may not resonate with everyone, and if it does not, feel free to check other aspects of your chart and or some of my other videos. Here on YouTube, we have the community board, which is very essential. So on your way out, check it out. If you subscribe, don't forget to hit all notifications when you select the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. Coupon codes, product specials, the works. I also, in the description box, have answered a lot of your questions. So check that out if you're interested in contacting me, making any purchases online at my store, or joining us on the other side in the member section through Patreon. A lot of classes, courses, webinars, discussion groups, all kind of stuff. Let's get into your reading, Pisces, because there's something that you have to figure out by yourself. And I believe in doing so, you may have to put something down and pick something else up, okay? Or it may talk about the directions that you're going, okay? So to start you out, we have the Hermit, which is why I said you may be going at it alone. You may have gone at it alone. When I think about the Hermit and it talks about internal solitude, separation, thinking, journeys, we got the Five of Pentacles next to it. And in the Five of Pentacles, there's usually someone outside of something, okay? Which also, with the Five of Wands, would represent like looking outside of yourself instead of going within for a solution. The Five of Pentacles is coming in as a setback. And so I think it's a temporary setback for a major come up, but you have to do this thing, okay? So let's talk a little bit about what that thing is, all right? Let's start with the Hermit. The Hermit is the number 9. I love 9s. It does talk about endings, as does time space here with the Judgment card. So let's dig into it. The Mayan death mask is symbolic of the Hermit, who shuts out worldly distractions. And look, you have the Five of Worlds. Some of you may be trying to manifest something and you can't think about how much it costs. You can't think about what other people think, how it happened in the past, or for some of you, like the journey or the time or the money that it takes to get there. We got to focus on, I think, the intention and the outcome, but not negatively, because we just had another reading. It was like you're focusing too much on the outcome, but hey. However, shutting down worldly distractions in order to complete his or her spiritual pilgrimage and temporal work, the Hermit symbolizes the law of perfection. Work on becoming complete by uniting the highest states of attainment in the material and spiritual realm. To achieve this perfection, the Virgo Hermit in you brings health, healing hands, and harvest, wheat stalk, to the physical and material life, which serves as the temple of your spirit. Prudently close out diversions to complete your projects. Eat well and get plenty of rest to achieve your goals. Seek material security and self-sufficiency so that you can go inward to the inner temple to gain self-knowledge and to live in union with the divine. By getting in touch with the higher self, you bring this power through your hands to heal, create, and guide. The shadow or negative side of the Hermit is you may be a perfectionist to a fault and become estranged from others. That Five of Worlds talking about a setback could be that estrangement, okay? Feeling like an outcast, you may retreat further and further into yourself. Instead of experiencing, revitalizing, and illuminating solitude, you can feel lonely and dried up. So it's like you may have been in a position for a reason, and you ain't even focusing on whatever you were put there for, because it could have been a good reason. And you're focusing on the fact that you're not out there or something like that for some of you. Now, where we have the Five of Worlds in this deck, and I'll show you because they're so beautiful. In this deck, it talks about a setback, and that is what's crossing the Hermit. Okay, so let's see why the Five of Worlds is coming up crossing my Hermit. In the Five of Worlds, which talks about the physical, just as the earth suffers devastation and disaster, you, most beautiful, prosperous, solidity, what? Your most beautiful, prosperous, solidity, organized projects and plans on which you depend and bank encounter a setback, a drying up of resources or a drought, a sudden ruination. Okay, so it could be like hurricanes, forest fires, volcanic eruptions, shit that man can't do nothing about. A block, a wall, or a parting of ways, abandoned village. And there is a sort of sense of abandonment in the Five of Pentacles traditionally. Defeat and difficulty, regenerative, as are the earth's natural disasters. The earth's healthy new seeds symbolize the new life. For every storm, there is a rainbow. Take one step back, a strategic retreat, and go 2 steps forward through the newly opened door of opportunity. As it is said, make lemonade out of lemons. Okay? So I love that. I knew that it's only a temporary setback, or it was a temporary setback. And for some of you, it doesn't even have to be so serious, as something major or catastrophic as a hurricane, or a forest fire, or a volcanic eruption, symbolically. It could be as simple as you're at the drawing board, and instead of thinking about why you don't have something or you're not in a place, you take it personal. Okay? Instead of using that time wisely. Now, this is making me think about quarantine. For some, quarantine can be very restrictive, business-wise, personal, whatever the case may be. But I, in my study and not being negative, have seen so many pleasantries to come of why we live through this time. Okay? The quarantine or being indoors has helped so many live. And it also kind of slowed the world down for those who may have been late bloomers. So now it's kind of like the world is slowing down. And then with Saturn in Aquarius, and what else was it? Chiron and Aries, those that had a far gain ahead are being kind of dealt with, molded, and stuff, right? So you, Hermit, or the Hermit situation, that temporary setback was definitely necessary. And because we're not all on the same path, for some of you where it was totally unnecessary, because I have had a chance to look at the other cards on the table, it's all in your thinking. Because some of you look to manifest and you look for abundance, and you could even be thinking about self-help books and watching videos, doing tarot and rubbing crystals, but it's all in your thinking and your judgment. And if we have this setback here and solitude and the Hermit here, with judgment and the King of Swords in the reverse, it's like someone isn't being innovative, where there's more than one way to skin a cat with this Two of Wands. So turn that thing around, child. Now, in the what you need to know, or in the lesson at hand, we have the Two of Wands. Okay? The Two of Wands talks about seeing the world as your oyster. The Five of Pentacles talks about seeing the ladder. So that could be where the shift may need to come. And it also talks about purity. So white candlelight is symbolic of purity. Like the unstained white snow and the impeccable white lotus, you are clean of character impurities. Purity is the natural light of the candle. Means being authentic and natural. So for some of you that could be worried about finances or socioeconomical situations, baby, you're beautiful. Your character, like the white lotus, you are clean and impeccable and authentic and natural. So be true to yourself without the contamination of outside conditioning. What you don't have, where you at, where you want to be, who's there, who's not, whatever. The white light, the crystals, and the window, and the lotus reflection represents purity of perception. See things as they really are. unhampered by prejudicial preconceptions. Pure white energy means living without artificial stimulants, chemicals, and drugs. Now, it's like, okay, whatever. People take stimulants to connect to God. I don't know what to say about that. But pure you are, a window to others for seeing their paths. Be a guiding light. And so I absolutely love that, because some of you, there could have been setbacks to keep you from some stuff that may have been necessary for you to see your beauty without them. Now, I, for one, don't like motivational speaking to crutch somebody into feeling better if they are on a down season or dealing with a setback. I am not the friend that's going to say some shit that make you feel better about your situation. But seeing that your mentality needed to be shifted, the toxins around you needed to be removed, I do see the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay? Especially with the sage here, which carries a more nurturing energy than the King of Wands would have. The King of Swords would have. Because the King of Swords is an energy of leadership and guidance. And so for some of us, it talks about following the guide, because the Hermit has the light or has the lantern. And it also is like, if you see elephants or you resonate with elephants, it reminds me of the wild animal Unknown, where it's like the elephant has the lantern at its feet. Okay? And the feet are symbolic to Pisces as well as the Hermit in occult anatomy. But the gist is, the light doesn't fill the room. It fills just enough for you to move your feet. And so you're moving in darkness, but you still have the light. And some of you may be the light in darkness. Hell, I don't know. But guess what? The crone or the knower, the sage of crystals, is over here. And the man of crystals is in reverse. So this is like a feminine energy over masculine energy. And when I think about the swords, it's like, be receptive. Take the advice. Be open. Be approachable to new ideas. Okay? And also set healthy boundaries and be realistic and intelligent. Now, with the Two of Wands in your lesson, or what you may need to know, with purity, in the past we have judgment. So I like to talk about new things, right? Because the newness is the abundance moving forward, the freedom moving forward, the happiness moving forward, the courage moving forward, the planning, the organizing, the structure, the innovation moving forward. But in the past, you have judgment, okay? And judgment for me has always been discernment. And it also talks about those aspects of feminine and masculine energies, as well as something that may be created or wholeness. Okay? So instead of seeing one of two ways or two ways, to skin a cat or whatever, just see wholeness in skinning the cat. Maybe not even looking at so many other options as to how. Just focus on what it is that you want and not continue to change how. Okay? So anyway, in the deck, time space, known traditionally in the tarot as judgment or aeon, is symbolized by, what is that? Skype? Toltec, Aztec god of the spring. See, we keep talking about spring, Pisces, so that's a good thing. We talked about winter from well in fall, okay? So for some of you, these things could have happened during cold seasons. And it's still kind of cold. But the winter is approaching, my friend. I'm sorry, the spring starts in March, don't it? Something like that. We're in February, and if you think, oh, that's a long time from now, I wanted some unexpected income tomorrow, then baby, that's probably why you still getting worked on, okay? So anywho, I saw spring, okay? Wearing the skin of a sacrificed human represents the new life, which attends to the death judgment of old karmic patterns. And we've been talking about little baby birds and springtime in all of your readings. And Scorpio, the death card, and karmic information has been coming up. So look at that. Karmic patterns. How do you get when you're alone? How do you feel about being alone? How do you feel about doing it alone? When I say the word alone, what comes to mind? Some people see alone and it's like, I got space, I can fart, I can do some house cleaning. I can take a nap. I can meditate. I'm not around drama. I don't have family problems. I don't have gossiping. I don't have relationship issues. Oh my God. Some people get here alone and feel cold and shut out and why and me and me against the world and the black sheep. And see what I'm saying? And that's speaking on my mouth. That's perspective. Okay? That is judgment. So anyway, the law of karma, the law of laws, symbolized by space-time, means that with your telescope vision, you are able to see the cause and effect of your mental and behavioral patterns. The sequences of the rock monuments, sun and moon, indicate your ability to see how your past determined your present and what your present will create for you in the future. Through your vision, alter the future and redirect your karma. Your sundial steering wheel illustrates your understanding of who you are and where you're going. Like the flyer, birds, mediator, and explorer spacecraft in this card, take great flights of mind. As a traveler in consciousness, transcend the world of matter and go in mind anywhere for any period of time. You are a futurist and seer. Okay, and the sage, the knower, is kind of like the seer, baby. And it looked like, and the magician, and the wheel of fortune, and the master. Child, okay. Look at that. All this. With this seer and the magician and the wheel of fortune. So I guess if I needed clarifiers, there they are. But we did good without them. How about that? High five. Okay. Your visions and ideas are seeds that bubble forth to alter minds and perceptions. The shadow or negative side of time-space is you may have a tendency, however, to dwell exclusively in your mind. You space out and ignore your physical and worldly needs and responsibilities. You fail to earth the genius of your perception. And that is why. Now, the good news is, because y'all know I'm a good news kind of person, I can't help it. So for some of you guys on my channel, the way it used to be was reversals meant a matter of the past. And we do have the past here. So it's kind of like you have conquered something before that could come up for question. That could be a karmic pattern. That could be something old, blah, 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 blah. But you have conquered it. All right. You have mentally, it's like victory and winning. And if you haven't because that's why I'm taking this. Okay, well, I'm a Pisces. And so if I get the Man of Swords in the reverse, either someone stops being stubborn, someone starts taking advice, someone follows the guide, someone goes within, listens to others and not try to delegate and dictate and do everything or be overly critical of the path that you're on or the direction that you're going or whatever the setback was, right? However, in the reverse, because the King of Swords is leadership, this will be, not leadership-y. The King of Swords is victorious. And in the reverse, this would be not victorious-y, right? But I still like the Mother of Swords in the know. Okay. Now, some of you, this Two of Wands could very well be a confirmation if you're asking if I'm still paying debt. Is this person karmic? Is this situation karmic? When does it all end? I feel like that Wheel of Fortune may turn in your favor, where the sword suits do symbolize patterns for me from the past, or represent people from the past, or something old still from the past. And the Father of Swords is not that. Okay. However, let's see if the book said anything else. We ain't got to it yet. So let's get to the Man of Crystals, which I think is Swords, right? Yep, the mind. The man in your mind. Yeah, it's the man in your mind. Probably not. The inventor. Like the crystal that generates new perceptions, your mind invents new ideas and knowledge. Be like a scientist experiencing a creative explosion of the mind. The crystal man symbolizes like the extraordinary varieties of uses of the crystal, the technological applications of your ideas. Both as technician and scientist, revolutionize your world, as the crystal has done, through practical invention and innovation. Brainstorm. Play with ideas, spin them around in the sky lab of your mind. Okay? So I do like that. Because in the past, it seems like you were in your mind the wrong way. Possibly. Not the wrong way, but maybe not the best way. I don't know. But wherever maybe you have to go back and rewind it. Whatever I said about judgment and the mind. Because we've already talked about the mind. I've heard the mind come out of my mouth. But now this in the mind is more of brainstorming. Are you not brainstorming? Now the fifth card is usually a strength though. So your strength is you're not brainstorming this. You could just be following your guide. So it's nothing that you have to like wreck yourself over. Okay? That your guide, the light, internally, you have this inner know. Okay? Or should or don't. Whatever. So I am just curious to see what would be to come of a Celtic spread. So we have the current situation. In crossing, we have the Five of Wands. And in the know or need to know in the lesson, we have the Two of Wands, which talks about seeing the world as your oyster. Okay, maybe you saw the world as your oyster and set out on to do that and was like, what the fuck? But I don't see the Three of Wands here, so I won't throw it out there. In the past, we have Judgment, which talks about the past. And crowning you, or crowning your thoughts, is the Father of Swords. Now, see, look at that. Maybe the Father of Swords should not be in reverse, because here we have the Six of Swords, which is moving away from chaos. Maybe you've done that. Some of you have mastered that. Some of you may have wanted to tiptoe into some past behaviors and said, nah, because here goes confusion. So there may be something coming up on your path where it's like left, right, straight, forward, back, sit, stand, run, because we have confusion. But it's also coming through as the Six of Crystals. And Six of Crystals is like the Six of Swords, which is a guide on the boat, moving the two individuals in the boat across the water. Right? Here we have the Empress. Okay? The Empress. Baby, I said the Empress. I said that. The Empress. That is abundance. Those are your expectations. That is fertility. That is nurturing. That is growth. That is the seeds being planted. Okay? The Empress and the Queen of Wands do share that very fertile energy. And it's not taking care of it. It's not manifesting it. It's just that possibility. They have that, that possibility. Whether they try to or not, they built for expansion. Something like that. In the center of the reading, we have creativity and the Three of Swords. And in your hopes and fears, you have the Six of Wands. So you got the Six of Swords and the Six of Wands. And for some of you, this could be material and finances, because it's like reward. And then here we have like reward or awareness. And then here we have like peace and resolve and harmony, mentally, emotionally, and consciously, right? So for some of you, it does sound like a fear of the past, and that costs you every time. Every time you have a fear in the moment, it creates a new moment in your future. And then you sit and think, why has this happened to me? And I'm not reacting, or I'm not acting, I'm reacting. But you're reacting to your previous thoughts and emotions and feelings and ideas and manifestations. So we have the Ten of Wands, which talks about growth. And I like the Ten of Wands because the Ten of Wands talks about completion and packing up and moving on, but it also talks about burdens. Okay? Maybe we're looking too much at the burden or something about the work. Okay? And I think this has work to do with the outside, because inner work would have been more of the Five of Wands, but you got the Hermit and the Five of Worlds, So I think if I put the Hermit and the Five of Worlds together, it still gives me that Five of Wands energy. We're like we halfway through something, and then once you get through it, you're going to feel really good about it. Kind of like a workout hurts in the meanwhile or the next day, but you start looking good and you start feeling better. And then here's that Six of Wands where it's like, ooh, I'm at the top of my game. And now I see the world as my oyster. And then the Empress comes in where the Father of Swords is not very forgiving, okay, is zero tolerance, not listening, not understanding, is stuck on how I see things, and is preparing for battle. And it may not even be a war, right? We have brilliance, the Ace of Swords, but that's the truth. That's the connection to source that makes the magician brilliant, genius, okay? Could make or break somebody, but I like it. And then we have the moon, which is the conflict. Maybe where your moon sign falls, or maybe what the moon is doing. And then we have the Seven of Cups in reverse. So some of you are ending a very rough period where, baby, you've been carrying it all, the whole load, child, and wondering. That's probably why that Five of Pentacles is there. It's like, well, fuck, you know, where, who else gonna do something? Okay, but the Seven of Cups in reverse and the Father of Swords in reverse, I think there's a disconnect between chaos and your mental state, or confusion in your mental state, and also the truth and an option and a choice and to pick, because the Seven of Cups could talk about too many options, and even obsessiveness, addictions, because this kind of came up where it talked about addictions and stuff like that. I ain't even want to think about that, but it talked about purification for some things that may have been done repeatedly. Some things that you feel like you can't stop doing and you can't live without. Addiction doesn't have to be drug. It could be food. It could be sex. It could be thoughts. It could be a need for something. Like, I gotta have Netflix. I don't know. Gotta have my cell phone. Gotta. I don't know. I'm just saying it's right there. Okay. I like the star. Didn't I say you have this connection, this guide or source? Okay. Wish fulfillment, hopes, dreams. That could be where the the hand falls on the Wheel of Fortune for you. It falls on a star. Okay, something about Aquarius. And some of you may have Aquarius moon. And then here we have the Woman of Wands, which talks about the moon again. So double emphasis on the moon. There's nothing else to say about that. Okay. And then with the Seven of Cups, there's the five. There's the setback. There's the beliefs. There's the tradition. There's the order. There's the structure. There's all of that in that Seven of Cups, causing some sort of confusion. Okay. I see it. And you keep getting all these sevens, Pisces. You keep getting all the sevens. Okay. I see seven of, what was it? Two sevens. You got Seven of Cups and you got the Seven of Swords. Okay. And see, this is forbade. Something is forbade or forbidden, child. You can't do that. See, and this is like being approachable and shit. Because the King of Swords is very stubborn and puts the foot down, right? But that's the challenge. That's the problem. Putting that foot down. Some of you probably need to put that foot down, child, around these moon cycles to yourself if you get to tripping on something. And then we have the Eight of Cups. So you do move out of Seven of Cups into the Eight of Cups, which is the Hermit's energy of coming out of the water, headed into the Nine of Cups, which talks about contentment and happiness and also wish fulfillment. Okay. But it's like these triple sevens also came with triple fives, because there's this sense of oppression with this Hierophant. I feel oppressed by what I'm going through because my belief says that I'm supposed to be doing something else or having more or, whatever. It's like a timeline because we have time space. I should have been doing this by now, or I should have this by now. I don't know. For some of you guys, it could be. Maybe not. But in comes this reward. And I think there's no more suffering, right? And here's another 7 of Wands with courage. Okay, so definitely love that. All right, I like it a lot. So where is this unexpected income? In your change of thoughts. For some of you, in a change of direction, or to actually move forward with ideas, buddy. This is the inventor or someone being innovative, like in reverse. Okay, so that could be the dark side of the Father of Swords. For some, being like overly, you're stubborn. You maybe not listening and following the guides, and that could cause setbacks and create more room for growth. Okay, but I like the 10 of Wands. But it's like a burden mentally. Some people may be burdened. And I'm confused about my path. There's something going on my path, you know, or where my path is leading me. And then the 5 of Pentacles and the Empress are 2 totally different energies. But I see someone got trust issues. Maybe not trust in the process. And you should. Because that is where that income that is totally unexpected comes from. Everyone wants unexpected income, but may not honestly expect it. Because the Empress could be the expectations. And you did have the 6 of Wands that talked about the reward. So that is possibly unexpected. Your income. Okay, that's what I got. Do hope that it helps. Until next time. Namaste.